UFC 290, Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez. Man, most definitely the best card this month, the month of July. That's saying a lot because the month of July is filled with banger cards, man. This should be a fun card. Every fight on the main card has a fight of the night potential. I know some fighters pulled out already, which is a bummer, like Trishan Gore and Sean Brady. They were respectively supposed to fight Jack Della Maddalena and Bo Nickel, but they already had replacements, which is good. We still get to see those awesome fighters put on, but the card is still intact, man. The card is still intact. It's gonna be a fun night. I'm most likely gonna be watching every single fight from the prelims to the main card. And without saying too much, let's get right to the breakdowns and predictions. Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Mainfield. This is a close fight on paper. At first I was excited for this matchup, but then I remembered they literally just fought each other. They're each other's last opponents. The fight ended in a draw. I guess that kind of makes sense on why they're putting this together again. They are on similar paths on their career. I would say Jimmy Crute is a little bit ahead, but man, he's had some shortcomings, man, and it looks like they're trying to give Alonzo that opportunity to crack into the top 15 if he isn't there already. At least get higher in the rankings. Man, I'm gonna go with Alonzo for this one. I'm going to bank on his power and his wrestling and grappling defenses. He does have a little bit of that, but I think he relies mostly on his striking, man. Jimmy Crute, you could say the same about him, but he's just had some shortcomings. He still has potential. Not writing him off. To me, this fight is a pick'em. Anybody can win this, so it's more of a may the best man win type situation. But if I had to go with one, I'm gonna go with Alonzo. That man is hungry. Jack Della Maddalena versus Josiah Harrell. This is probably gonna be Jack by whatever he wants. Jack was originally supposed to fight Sean Brady. Man, which would have been such a good fight. But Sean Brady pulled out, so at least you still get to watch Della Maddalena put on. It's gonna be a fun performance. I trust that guy. I'm putting everything on that guy. I'm on his train. I'm on his hype. I'm on everything, man. That guy's gonna be a future star. He has so much potential at such an early part in his career. He hasn't even reached his peak, and the way he performs is just amazing. So I'm gonna go by Jack by a finish, a submission or a knockout, probably in the first or second round. I'm sorry, Josiah. I hope I'm sleeping on you. I do like being proven wrong in situations like this. He might just be someone who we're not aware of. I'm definitely not aware of him, but hey, this is an opportunity to make your name. But yeah, my pick for this fight is Jack Della Maddalena by first or second round finish. Robbie Lawler versus Nico Price. Man, you already know this is gonna be a barn burner, slugfest type fight. Two veterans that don't hold back and could care less about fighting clean. Let's throw away skills. Let's throw away tactics or plans. Let's just throw down and brawl. That's how this fight is going to go. Absolutely, I can't wait for this. This is a perfect fight for a featured prelim. I'm gonna get a lot of views, and I'm seeing it's Robbie Lawler's retirement fight. I'm happy, man. That man is a legend. He's a veteran. He's one of the OGs, Hall of Famer. He's one of the best of all time, man. But just because of damage occurred and the age difference, I mean, they're not that far apart, but like, I mean, fighting age is different from real life age, right? We all know that. So I'll have to go with Nico on this, man. But it will be perfect, for Robbie to get a finish and then retire. That would be a perfect ending. But either ways, the man has had a fantastic career, has had records, former champion. Like I said, Hall of Famer. He absolutely does not have anything to prove. He's one of the last fighters in his era, if you think about it, right? Yeah, that's wonderful, man. And he's still fighting right now. That's crazy. But yeah, this fight is going to probably go the distance. No, it is not going the distance. Absolutely not. Easy money on that. But yes, Robbie, thank you for everything you've done. You're a wonderful veteran. Thank you for all the entertainment and the showdowns. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Nico Price for a finish with this fight. Turner versus Dan Hooker. Man, Dan Hooker, back in the lightweight, going against a highly skilled prospect, Jalen Turner. I wouldn't even call him a prospect anymore, man. He's actually been fighting in the UFC for a while. But he's one of those guys you see as an upcomer, potential, top 10, probably title contender. Who knows? I do see heights for Jalen Turner, man. That's one of my favorite fighters that I'm keeping my eye on, that I really want to excel. So with all that said, you already know it's gonna be a banger. Dan coming off a nice win against Claudio Perez. I'm sorry for butchering that. I'm sorry. Some people started putting him in a washed up category, but he looked real good in that fight, like, if I'm being honest, And when you think about it, Dan Hooker has only lost to killers. Dustin Poirier, Arnold Allen, and everybody else is lost to is at a height in their career and high in the rankings. Jalen Turner, on the other hand, is highly skilled, man. I've been putting a close eye on Jalen. He's a submission artist with knockout power. You cannot shut down his nice streak. But Gamron did that. Gamron shut down his streak, but he's back on it. You know how it goes. You win some, you lose some. This is a very good matchup and will be a great win for both guys. I honestly feel like Jalen's style is perfect for Dan to handle, but Jalen's career has been on an upward trajectory for a while. Unlike Dan, it's been down, up, Like I said, losing to the killers, but beating everybody else. This is a hard pick for me. I'm not gonna lie. I love both guys, but I'm gonna go with Jalen, man. With everything I've seen, his mindset, his attitude, his mental, he's very tuned in. I saw that he trained with Khamzat Chimaev for a while. That has to add some advantage, right? He seems ready, man. He seems ready. I'm not sure about Dan Hooker's mindset. Like I said, his career hasn't been going how he wants it to go. His featherweight experiment was a big fail, unfortunately. That was sad to watch. But you can't sleep on Dan the Hangman, bro. He is a killer. He's a savage, and he's not scared to put on a fight and make it a dog fight. I think Dan has potential of winning for sure. But I'm going to go with Jalen, as I believe it's his turn to start working towards that title shot potential. So, yeah, I am going to go with Jalen. Probably going to go the distance with this one. Won't be surprised if it ends in the finish. But, yeah, I'm banking on Jalen Turner for this fight. Robert Whittaker versus Dricus du Plessis. I've been waiting for this matchup ever since it was announced. I mean, the UFC is obviously want to give Dricus an opportunity to have a legit call at the belt. I mean, aside from the whole first African champ Shabako nonsense, I feel like Easy wants Dricus to win, just so he can have a chance to potentially piece him up. Dricus is a dog, though. You can't mess with that guy. You can't sleep on him. He's one of those guys who you cannot take a paddle off at any point in a fight. He's a problem when he's losing a fight, and when he's winning that fight, you just can't. His gas tank, we've seen it get emptied, but now apparently his nose is fixed, so he's laid a lot of blame on his nose issue. He talks about how it's just his breathing tactics. He's not really gassed, but we're about to find out. He is on a good momentum, and he also knows that this win will be the biggest by far in his career. You absolutely cannot sleep on him. On the other hand, we got Robert Whittaker. Man, Robert does know everything I just said about Drissus, though. He said it himself. He's not underestimating Drissus, and is taking the fight very serious. Robert Whittaker is already one of the greatest middleweights of all time. Hands down, living legend. He has over convincingly stopped any contender not named Israel Adesanya, right? He's getting a third title shot if he wins this fight. And not because he's hyped up, not because the UFC or even the fans want him next, solely because he is that great of a fighter. The man has stopped everybody from overpassing him to get the belt. So he's about to get another shot. If he wins, he's most likely going to win. Before I pick, I'm just going to make a forever prediction. Don't quote me on this, but here it goes. Robert Whittaker will never lose to anyone not named Israel Adesanya. Facts. With all that being said, I am going to go with Robert for a decision win or a second round finish. Don't get it twisted. There's something in my spidey senses pricking me and telling me, hey, Drissus may shock everyone that night, but we shall see. And now for the co-main event. Brandon Moreno versus Alexandre Pantoja. Is it Alexandra or Alejandra? Alejandre Pantoja. That sounds better. I'm sorry, Alejandra. I'm sorry, Pantoja, if I'm butchering your name. Anyways, Brandon Moreno, the Mexican champ. Viva Mexico. The people's champion versus Alexandre Pantoja. This is going to be a fun fight to watch, hands down. I mean, when was the last time Brandon Moreno was in a boring fight, right? Like, I can't even, that's not even a memory I can access. I see Brandon trying to keep this on the feet. I see a lot of leg kicks being thrown, being used for his advantage and his reach. Brandon is great on the ground as well, and can go for that submission when the opportunity shows itself. That's one thing about Brandon. I don't think he chases submissions, but he does not miss an opportunity when he's there, hands down. A very opportunistic fighter, and it's pulled off for him so many times. So Brandon, like I said, he's great on the ground. He will go for that submission when he's there, if it shows itself. But Pantoja is fantastic on the ground. So I don't see Moreno chasing for wrestling or submission tactics. Pantoja will welcome that and most likely take full advantage of that if it happens. Pantoja himself is probably going to chase for a submission, but Brandon should be expecting that. Man, Pantoja has beat Brandon twice in a decision, and I think one was a split decision, the other one was unanimous. But that the last fight I believe was about 5 years ago in 2018. So this is going to be their third fight, and Brandon is already on a 0 win against Pantoja. Pantoja already has 2 wins, so man, it's gonna be a tense fight for sure. You can't lay down and watch this one. You gotta be sitting right up. So 5 years later, with both fighters massively improving, this is going to be a very close fight, at least on paper. They can both handle each other's best offense skill. It's a really hard pick for me, man. It's a really hard pick. And the odds agree with that. It's so close. Anybody can win this. But I'm just going to go with Brandon because I believe he has improved slightly more than Pantoja since their last fight. It's not a confident pick. Pantoja can totally win this for sure. But I like Brandon's run. He's one of the most inspirational fighters for me at least right now. Him and Charles Oliveira, man, they're like literally movie characters. Like, it's unrealistic the way their careers have turned out, like movie type stuff. So I'm gonna go with Brandon for this. Like I said, it's not a confident pick, but I'm gonna go with Brandon for a unanimous decision or a third round knockout. And now for the main event, Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez. Man, we finally come to the main event. This is a lovely matchup. I feel like this will be one of those volume versus deadly strikes type fights. Volk is a machine, man. He doesn't stop touching his opponent. Beautiful jabs, non-stop leg kicks, and great timing as well. Volkanovski's volume is a serious problem for everyone he fights. Like, absolutely. It's something to deal with. And somehow he keeps improving. Like, you think you've seen the best, the most perfect fighter, and then in his next fight, he ups it up a notch. It's crazy. Combine that with what he just showed us in his last fight versus Islam, right? Like, before that fight, we were like, okay, Volkanovski is probably gonna have more advantage on the feet, and then Islam would have more advantage on the ground, but it turned out being the exact opposite. Even with Volkanovski's fight against Brian Ortega, Volk showed that you can bring on the wrestling, bring on the submission, and he will stand in there or lay in there and get out of it. Volk plays no games on the ground. He has great takedown defense and submission defense, and even when you get him to the ground, he can handle himself. One thing is for sure, you don't want to be laying on your back on the floor and Volk staying on top of you, because you know the ground and pound is gonna come raining down heavy on you. Mad. On the other hand, though, we have Yair Rodriguez, one of my favorite fighters to watch for sure. One of the most dynamic, well-rounded fighters in the featherweight division and arguably in the UFC period. And when I say dynamic, he's not just one of those fighters that just throw out random stuff just to try their luck and see if it works out. No, he calculates, he targets, and he lands those dynamic strikes more than he doesn't, which is just ridiculous. Watching Yair is like watching some type of karate movie. It's crazy. Like, you cannot take your foot off the pedal on Yair, because that man can throw out something crazy at any given time. Look at that beautiful knee he landed on Korean Zombie at literally 4:59. He was losing the fight, and in the last second, this man did a reverse elbow and slept the Korean Zombie. One of the greatest things I've ever seen in mixed martial arts, hands down. So yeah, he can throw something crazy at any time. It doesn't matter if he's winning or if he's losing. That's something that happens a lot with Yair. So Yair has so much in his bag, man, and he doesn't just throw punches. Like I said, he doesn't just throw kicks for points. He throws to hurt his opponents. Every single shot Yair takes has an intention of hurting his opponents. You know, such a dangerous fighter. To me, this is the most dangerous and unpredictable fight that Volk is going to be in. The most unpredictable fighter he's ever fought, you know, in my opinion. Obviously, I mean, Yair can throw a head kick out of nowhere and hurt Volk badly. You know, man, Volk's chin has to come through in this fight. I would say that his chin has to be ready for those unpredictable shots, man. Volk is going to go down as one of the greatest champions in MMA history already. He doesn't even have to do more, but he is in the process of cementing that. Man, can you imagine? Like, Volk was actually one of those champs that people used to say, "Oh, fake champ. Max Holloway beat you twice. The belt, you don't deserve the belt." But this man just kept on winning, dominating, like. Shutting up all the haters. Now he's the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. one of the best champions. Everybody respects that. Like, he's one person who earned, everyone's respect hands down without anything, no hype, no nothing, just full on professionalism and fighting skill. So with this one, I'm gonna go with Volkanovski for a decision. Volkanovski's last finish was against Korean Zombie. That was such a mismatch and hard to watch. This one, I don't know. I don't really see Volkanovski finishing Yair, which is crazy because if Yair wins, I won't be surprised if he's finishing Volkanovski. Man, I'm gonna be tensed in this fight because I do feel like Yair has a big chance of winning. If he does, he's gonna be the first Mexican champion in the featherweight division. I think right now we have Yair as the interim champ, Brandon Moreno as the flyweight champ, and Alexa Grasso as the women's flyweight champ. 3 Mexican champions, man. It will be so good if Yair can actually legitimize his belt and make it official. But man, Volk, the great, I don't see anybody beating that guy, man. I don't see him losing to anybody in his weight class. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Volkanovski for a decision and a dominating one as well. And that brings us to the end of UFC 290 card breakdown and predictions. Like I said, this should absolutely be a fun card. I'll definitely be watching most of the fights, every fight on the main card, every fight on the prelims, some fights on the early prelims, because yeah, I'm an MMA junkie. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content, as I will be bringing way more your way. See you guys in the next video.